Hello, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to this video. So something that I haven't shared online that I've been doing recently is taking Arabic classes. And as you can tell by the title of this video, I have been learning Arabic now for 3 months. I've been doing 2 classes a week on average, sometimes 1, with a private teacher. And it really has been amazing just how much Arabic I have learned in the last few months. Now, I'm by no means fluent. I'm still very much on level 1, very much the basics. But I just thought it'd be interesting just to kind of go through what I have been learning and also like the pros and cons that I found between like trying to teach myself online and also, having the private teacher. Now, if you did come to this video to see me speak Arabic, then unfortunately, that's not what you're going to get. I'm not going to be speaking Arabic in this video. I'm definitely not that confident. But I just wanted to make this in case you are looking to learn Arabic and you're just thinking like, how much can I actually get from lessons? So if you are new to my channel, you don't know who I am, my name is Ellie Quinn. I am a travel blogger, and I actually thought in 2020, after I'd been to Saudi Arabia, I really want to learn Arabic. I've been wanting to learn a second language for a long time. I'm very much a typical British person where I don't really speak any other languages. Learned French at school, can't remember anything. Learned a little bit of Spanish on my travels, but didn't keep it up. So learning a second language has always been on my, life bucket list. And after being in Saudi Arabia and, not really being able to speak to people well, I just thought Arabic would be such a good language. Now, a couple of months later, I then started looking into Islam and I did become a Muslim, as you can kind of tell with the headscarf. But my desire to learn Arabic probably came even before I even started learning about the religion. And I also just want to clarify, I guess, that, even as a Muslim now, I don't necessarily need to learn conversational Arabic. It's just something that I want to learn for myself and for my travels. Now, when I first thought, okay, I want to start learning Arabic, I went to YouTube, and there are so many videos on YouTube. But one, it's kind of like, where do you start? Because there are so many videos. And then I kind of found, a couple of channels, and I thought, right, let's stick to one channel and let's just learn it from this channel. And whilst I did, learn a few words, and I had my notepad in my phone and I was writing words down and stuff, it just didn't really stick. And I have found, especially from all of these lockdown classes that, I did before, I do need a bit more motivation and accountability as well to actually firstly turn up to group online classes. I realized I do a couple and then I just don't do any more. And then also especially trying to learn on my own using YouTube without any accountability whatsoever. It just didn't really work for me. And the third thing that I really found, and that's what I want to talk about in this video as well, is kind of how to learn Arabic, in the sense that there are so many different Arabic dialects. So every country has its own dialect, which of course makes sense, and people say things slightly differently. For example, my husband, he is Libyan, and he says some phrases and words to his Libyan friends and family he wouldn't say to some of his friends that are Iraqi, because they just don't say that kind of thing. They don't understand what he's talking about. And so what I found is that I was starting to learn a few things online. From my experience, it is Egyptian dialect, because a lot of TV shows are in Egypt. It's got such a huge population as well. But then my Saudi friends would say oh, we don't say that. And then I kind of thought, well, why am I learning Arabic if I'm then going to go to a country and people are just going to say oh, I don't understand that, we don't say that. It's really, really discouraging. So now with these lessons, I learn Fusha Arabic. So that is the standard Arabic that is taught in schools in Arab countries. And my teacher on my first lesson said, if you have someone say we don't say that, or I don't understand you because I speak this dialect, she said, just say to them, what did you learn in school? Because if they went to school in an Arab country, then they learned Fusha. The news is also in Fusha as well. And I feel this really helps you not become discouraged, because even though someone might say oh, we don't say it like that in our country, it's you're still speaking the official Arabic language. So the YouTube videos didn't really work for me, and then I didn't really go back to learning Arabic for a long, long time. Then I became Muslim, I learned a lot about Islam, life got busy again because everything picked up after COVID. But I was left thinking at the end of last year, I really do want to get on with this. And my friend just said, you have to do it. I know you're busy, but you're always going to be busy. You just have to commit to it. Now, on this note as well, With being a Muslim and wanting to learn Arabic, it is important to learn Arabic so that you can read the Quran. Now, for me, it was like I can either do Quranic Arabic classes or I can do conversational Arabic classes. I feel like I haven't got time to do both right now, or just like the mental headspace to do both. And I had done a few Quranic classes online as well, going through the alphabet, kind of starting to learn like how Arabic letters are written to be able to pronounce them. But I just felt like it's so much and I just wasn't really getting anywhere. And I know what my personality is like. I know that I need to see progress to feel motivated. So I decided to go for the conversational Arabic classes, not because I think like Quranic classes are not important. Like if you're watching this and you're a Muslim, then just so you know, like I do think that's important. But for me, I've kind of figured that conversational Arabic I'd learn it quicker and therefore I'd become more interested, feel like I'm doing good, making progress, and then I can go back and kind of like learn the basics. So I got recommended a teacher and she teaches on Verbling. And so far I've had a really good experience with Verbling. I mean, my only experience really is like with her on Verbling, but it seems like a really good platform. There's a lot of teachers on there. This isn't a sponsored video or anything, just so you know, but the link is below if you do want to find a teacher, because I was trying to think, like how am I going to find an Arabic teacher? And something else that was important for me is, although I wanted to do regular classes, I didn't want them to be so regular. So I couldn't, commit to like a Tuesday at 6 o'clock every single week because my weeks often change. But I did want to keep something regular. So what I really like about Verbling is that the teacher puts their timetable up and then you can book classes within that. And you can also cancel classes within about 24 hours as well. So for me, I have a regular time that I usually do like Tuesday lunch times, but if I can't do it, then I change it. And I don't have to message her either, because I didn't want to just have like a private teacher where we just did it on our own via Zoom, because I feel like then you're constantly messaging your teacher like, can I change? And you feel bad, whereas I just wanted it to be on a platform where like I didn't have to feel bad if I change my lesson or I don't do, 1 week I do a Tuesday, the next week I do Wednesday, the following week I do Saturday, something like that. So I did an intro with my teacher and I told her, I just want to learn to speak Arabic. I just want to make progress. So I'm not interested in being able to write it, being able to read it, which she said like, that's fine. So we write in using the English alphabet rather than the Arabic alphabet. Now, what's really kind of interesting is that Arabic, when written like with the English alphabet, they use numbers in there as well. And I remember seeing this on YouTube as well, and even seeing videos like, what these numbers mean. And I remember just thinking like, that must just be so hard. Like, why are there numbers in words? Like, this makes no sense whatsoever. But within a couple of classes, like we had gone over those numbers, what they mean, and now I know, and they actually do make sense. So for me, even that was just such a huge thing within the first few weeks. Now I have my notebook here, which I write all of our notes from our lesson onto, but we actually use a Google Doc within the lessons, and then she gives me homework at the end as well. So in the first 3 months, we've gone through the basics, a few like welcomes, how are you, I'm fine, who is she, he is this, she is this, some basics there. And then what we really started getting into were item names. So we looked at the office and what, phone, chair, newspaper, table, keys, clock, map, laptop, office drawer, sofa, like what all of these words were in Arabic. What I found really isn't interesting about these lessons is I just like let it flow. She's a professional, I've let her teach me. And then each time we do another lesson, it's like, oh, that's why we learned that. And now I know this. So then after we learned item names, we started to learn locations like in front of, opposite, next to, outside, underneath. And then you can start saying, laptop is underneath the table, or the book is on top of the chair. And all of a sudden you've got like a small sentence, which feels really good. And that was in 3 lessons that we started doing that. And then we started requesting items like, can you give me the laptop? And then obviously you can ask, well, where is the laptop? And then you can answer saying the laptop is on top of the table, because that's what you know to say, because you've already learned that. So that was really good. And then we started learning like a few nationalities, how to say country, city. And, there's been a lot of things here as well, when I've traveled and, people say like, you know, in Marrakesh and stuff, like they call it like the Medina, you know, like for me, I kind of thought that was like market, even though I know market isn't Medina in Arabic. I knew that anyway, but now I know like, oh, city is Medina in Arabic. So it makes sense why you go to so many cities in Arab countries and it's called the Medina. And there's been a couple of things like that. I'm like, oh, that's why that's called that. You know, and then we started doing like colors and some numbers and going through like the school and the office and, you know, what the name is for secretary and boss and student. And then all of a sudden you can start, you know, describing the office and the people in it. And now what I'm on to as well at kind of nearly 3 months, we've been doing this for the last few weeks, is possessiveness, which is when things get a little bit more complicated because in Arabic, it's very different between genders. So at the moment, kind of trying to say like my laptop, his laptop, her laptop, your laptop if you're a man, your laptop if you're a woman, and just going through them, which has become a lot more harder. But it really does feel like I am making progress, and you know, everything that we've learned before, you know, you can now write like paragraphs, and they're not really interesting paragraphs, of course, but you know, it does help, and it's, you know, there's so many words there that I am now recognizing. And if I was to think, you know, really like how many Arabic words, just words alone, I now know from the last 3 months, like there is a lot there. There really, really is a lot. So, you know, that is really what I have learned in the last 3 months. And like I said at the start, I've been doing 2 lessons a week, mostly, sometimes just 1 lesson. And I have to do homework as well. And the homework can take me between like half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. And then of course, you know, it is good to keep a recap and practicing. I'm not practicing as much as I should be, especially considering I have a husband who speaks Arabic. But I think because this is so basic, you know, it is hard to talk in Arabic when the words are so basic, and I know he forgets like what I actually know and what I don't, and I don't say them either. So we do need to get better at that, and I know that is going to really, really help me if I do get better at that. And I also know, you know, I'm probably not going to be able to go to an Arab country and like really speak to someone that well, just still within 3 months. In fact, I'm going to Abu Dhabi, which will be the next videos after this, inshallah. So maybe we can speak Arabic there. I don't know. We'll see. But that will give me a good test, you know, like, is there anything I can say? But I still think even if there isn't, you know, I still have learned so much, and I know that this is just level 1. It is the basics, and you have to do the basics to be able to actually start learning more. And then what I hope then is to learn, you know, actually how to read and write and learn the Arabic alphabet. And then I think hopefully that will help me with Quranic Arabic as well. Yeah, you really, really recommend it. I mean, I think if you are looking to learn Arabic, whether that's because you've got Arab friends or family now, or you are just looking to travel more to Arabic countries or for work. I know my teacher teaches a lot of people who need to know Arabic for work. Then doing these private classes, I think they are really, really beneficial. And if I compare it to, you know, how I was trying to learn on YouTube or with group classes, you know, it really, really doesn't compare. Like having someone that you're accountable to, it's just private between you two. It doesn't matter how bad you sound or anything like that. They are just there to teach you and to help you. It really, really does help. So I hope that you found this video useful. If you are looking to learn Arabic, or it's something that you are thinking about, or if you just watched it because you watch my videos, then of course, thank you so much. Or shukran, should I say. So I'm going to leave a link to Verbling anyway in the description, just in case you want to check it out. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you very much for watching.